What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. Oh man, my thing got messed up. My chat window.
Chat. What the hell? Scuff stream.
Let me get it fixed real quick. Chewy, you want to lead us in real quick while I fix this?
Oh yeah. So hey, here guys, ready? Ready? Come on. Boom. Iron 180. Done. Built. Fastest build stream ever. Anyway, let's get on to our interview with Basic.
Oh, wait. Chat's mentioning how my name is spelled wrong. Yeah, like no, it's okay, because there have been like people who have spelled it like with just a K, which is fine.
I gotta fix it though. I gotta fix it.
We'll get it fixed.
Chat. My bad.
Oh,
chat.
okay. Okay. I thought it was the title.
No, you're good. You're good.
I copied it from Twitch, but yeah, Basic with a K. Basic with an extra K.
Well, I did the K, but I didn't do the C.
Yeah, I'd be like that sometimes. You know, we're going full Lang stream. All right, scuff to the max. So, guys, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. We've got BasickBuilds here joining us today. If you guys don't know who she is, hit !guest. Check out her channel. She is an awesome streamer. She's got max stream quality with that Fujifilm camera going crazy. I love it. I watched like 2 hours of her stream and I just couldn't keep my eyes off it. Also, I was dying a lot in Among Us, so it happened. But welcome to the stream.
Thank you. I'm like super excited. Thank you for having me. Like literally never thought that you guys would like, I would be on Mechs on Deck. So it's an honor. It really is an honor.
I mean, yeah, I guess maybe.
I did the dishes right before this. So.
Yeah,
no. But I appreciate it very much.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to add you to the list of awesome guests that we have. We'll get you to that coveted 5-timers club that I think like 2 people are in now. We'll get you there. Welcome. Guys, she's got an awesome subathon. So if you want to see her crumble to pieces mentally, just start throwing subs her way so she can get all the way to 24 hours and just be drooling by the end of stream. And that's going to be happening when?
It is happening this Saturday. I'm going to be starting it at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
that's noon, the correct time zone. That's what
yes.
CT stands for, correct time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 1 p.m. EST, 12 p.m. CT, and 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Hell yeah.
So you've got a hard cap at 24 hours, I hear. What kind of things are you gonna be doing?
So there is a hard cap at 24, but plans might change. Who knows? Plans might change. But we're gonna be building some boards, playing some Among Us with chat, maybe building another board unless I get distracted by chat. And then just we'll see where it goes if we reach 24 hours. And also, if we reach a certain threshold, I will also be doing a giveaway on a personal board of mine. So
fancy. I like it. I like the energy. So guys, as most of you know, well, first off, quick shout out to our awesome and amazing sponsors, Cannon Keys, Dixie Mech, SwitchMod.net, and Project Keyboards, as well as our awesome partners, Zap Cables, Smith and Rune, and Type Beast. We will hear more from them in a little bit. We typically start our shows off with the Fast Four. So, Miss Basic, top 4 favorite Switches.
Top 4? Oh, that's so hard, but I'm such a linear person. Linear gang rise up. Don't come for me. So Tangi's V2, Alpacas, Creams, and Gateron Ink Blacks.
Nice.
All lubed, filmed, and spring swapped.
Boom.
Nice. What's your preferred spring weight?
My preferred spring weight, usually I like to go with 63.5 slow, like Sprit slow, but lately I've been using TX 65 gram. And that's been a good like medium between like heavier for me and then light. So
Nice. Well,
It's,
next.
it's,
Oh,
it's
go ahead.
pretty light for me
Yeah,
on linear.
Chewy, you're like 98 gram or bust on linear. So
let's go. 98 grams of bust.
98 grams?
And it's butter.
Dude.
It's typing on butter. It's
oh
amazing.
my gosh. Actually, I do have a quick question though.
Yeah, of course.
So like let's say on certain switches like that are maybe a little bit scratchier than, but let's say a cherry. Like, do you think using a heavier spring helps take away some of that scratchiness?
I think heavier springs
like
allow you to lube the ever-loving shit out of switches. So, like, I basically dunked the entire stab into the lube for the stabs on it, and it's just like, it's max smoothness.
Butter.
I think it does. I think in terms of like it'll break in that switch a little bit quicker. Because I mean, obviously more force, but yeah, I mean, you could also, if you're like a super heavy typer with lighter springs, it could still kind of achieve the same goal. So, but if you're chewy and you just dunk them in the lube, then it doesn't matter. It has to be heavy.
Kiwi Kang, thank you for the raid of 18. Thank you, welcome everyone from Kiwi Kang stream. Hope you had a good stream. But no, I also like, I am not someone that with linears, I'm still more sound over feel with linears. And so like creams are my favorite linear, and just because of sound. And so like super smooth switches are nice, but honestly, like I get, maybe it's just this weird like feeling, but if it's like too smooth, it almost feels weird to me. So like I used inks for a while, and I was like, this is like almost too smooth. I need a little rougher around the edges.
Understandable.
I mean, I usually use tactiles though. Tactiles are my
okay. So, yeah, I think like in terms of tactile, I've only ever used maybe like 2, which are like Zelios, which were my very first switch. Like when I first got into the community, those were the first switches I've ever bought, and I was like, oh, like, yeah, like Zelios V2s, like they're gonna be so good. No, they're living on the edge, but someone pushed me over every single time I type on them. I had to lube them a lot. Like I heavily lube them to get that more like rounded bump. And then I tried Holy Pandas, which are really nice. But yeah, I don't think I found like a tactile that made me like, oh yeah, I want to use tactile. Except MX Browns, which I know they're so meme. But let me tell you, when you hear a good vintage MX Brown, it slaps. It hits different. Like, so good. So good.
I mean, that's like the minimal tactility. You might actually really enjoy Zelio V1s more than V2s because of how much lower of tactility that they are. They're like
Zelio V1s to me are just like what lilacs are supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, even lilacs are still more aggressive tactile than V1s. But yeah, and I sit kind of, I have some switches that are kind of in your range. I've got some Nolive switches, which are basically creams, but in the olive colorway, and they came with 63.5 gram springs. So
that to me is basically like the perfect switch. Like the weight and the fact that it's also a cream. Cream switches to me are just so just the sound unmatched. Like I love the sound of a cream switch.
Yeah, for sure. And next up in the Fast Four, your top 4 favorite key sets.
Okay. So I'll say my top 4, and then I'll kind of explain like why I don't know more. So first is GMK Mizu. I am so sad I missed out on that set. I was actually kind of fresh into the community when the extras had dropped, and I had it in my cart. But like spending $200 something just like to me at that time didn't make sense. So I'm really sad I missed that. GMK Mizu, minimal, because I just love a set I could just throw on any board and it'll look good. Olivia.
So the same set.
Yeah. And what else? I'm gonna have to say white on black. Like that to me is just such a good, like classic set. So those are my top 4. But that's also because like I don't spend like a good amount of time looking into like interest checks and stuff. But Metaverse was a good one.
Thoughts on the black of GMK Honor?
GMK Honor, the darker set?
I would imagine. I assume.
Is I believe it's like a dark, like navy blue, sort of.
Is that the?
It's novel keys. It's like a
set, yeah.
dark gray navy. Like if grain was gray and navy, this is like blay. This is like blue navy or black navy.
I like it because of the sub legends. But
it's cool, but the colors don't do anything for me, honestly.
Yeah. I would say like this is like one of the sets where I like that it's like it's got that minimal factor to it, but it's not a set that I would personally buy myself. You know, other than because I want the alpha, like the sub legends on the alphas. That's it.
Yeah. And actually, that some of the stuff you guys are saying in chat, we'll get into later. We do have a small little topic to go over later. But until then, top 4 favorite keyboards.
Top favorite keyboards. Like top 4 or
yeah. Top 4 favorite keyboards. Does not have to be in any particular order.
Okay. Polaris. Like I gotta give it to the Polaris. Like that I love it. Love it so much. F18X. The Jane V2 CE. And I gotta give it to my Savage 65. I think that board, for what it's worth, punches so well above its weight, and for the variations you can get with it, it's got to be in that list.
Yeah, I think all the Cannon keys, that line, the Wrecked, Savage, Obliterated, I think all those boards just and Brutal is the other one. All those boards just do so well for really what they are, and getting a taste of some of the more higher end qualities of keyboards, but being able to kind of have it more at a reasonable price. If you're deciding to buy one of these keyboards, maybe don't like buy it and then sell it before you even get it, because I know people, was it the Wrecked? I think it was the Wrecked. Yeah, where someone bought it and literally posted that I'm getting one in the mail, trying to sell it.
So. That's crazy to me. Like if you buy it and without even trying it, you're just gonna like flip it or sell it. I mean, I have my reserves about the market and like flipping. At the end of the day, it's like it's your board, do what you want with it. But at the same time, it's like at least try it. Like if you're gonna get something that a lot of people did want to get and try, at least try it and then sell it. Like make it fair.
Yeah,
I guess what I'm saying.
That's the same thing that's frustrating for me, is like when you see boards that are like super sought after and people just don't even build a plate of it, or like they just don't even do anything with it. It's like, come on, man. Like just at least take some time, try it out, then decide if you like it or not. Like
Steph Keys puts it perfectly. At least pretend you weren't trying to profit from it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But people do what they want to do, and like you said, it's their board and they can kind of do what they want with it. And if there's people willing to pay $2,000 for a $400 retail board, it's crazy.
Amazingly, like, look, people who have the money to do it, I can't even talk bad on them, because I'm like, you have the money, do what you want with it. But like, definitely, like, when I saw like those prices, right, in the market. And with certain boards like that, it's just like, dude, at that point, like, why not just reach out to the vendor and be like, or try to get a commission, right? Like, just get a one-off for yourself if you're gonna be willing to pay that much. But I guess it's also the like, they want it now aspect of it.
If I'm spending $2,000, I'm reaching out to have someone design me a board and buy that board and buy 2 or 3. You know, like you can, that much money you can pay people that are not going to charge $2,000. They might charge you $500, $600, $700 for design fees, and then the proto might run you that much as well. But that's still $1,500 for a board that you could basically say this is a one of one just for me. Which I know a lot of people are like, oh, this key colt is one of one because I got it in this color. It's like, yeah, but you spent $3,000 on it. When $3,000 you could have gotten a lot. You could have probably paid for two custom boards to your spec.
Exactly. And I mean, I think the one keyboard that I saw on Teja, and I don't remember if it was a commission or not, but I think it was like black. It was a key colt. It was, I think, the number 2. I believe it was a number 2. And it had the stainless steel polished bottom with an engraving. I was like, that is the sexiest board I've ever seen in my life. Like,
it's piano class.
If I could marry an inanimate object, that would be it. I won't, but like if I could, that would be it. But at the same time, I was just yesterday, I was like looking at the price sheet for a commission just to kind of get an idea of like where, you know, commissions would be if you were to commission one from Keycult. And I was like, at that point, when you commission something like that and paying that premium, you're kind of, to me at least, you're at the end of your journey with the community, right? Like, you know what you want, you know what you expect from a board, and you know what you want for a look. And that's when you commission and pay that pricing. And it's like, okay, I'm good.
Well, and that's, you know, Cyrus and I talk about this a lot. It's like, where do we go now? Like, we have what we want. At this point, everything else is just icing on top, and it's just wanting to own something cool. And I imagine the boards that we get, any boards that we get kind of from now on are either going to be replacing things that are staples on our desks, or we're going to have them for a while, like them, and then pass them along. You know?
Yeah.
I enjoyed this for 5-6 months. Now I'm good. Like, I don't need this anymore. You kind of find your niche.
I mean, you sell things. I've sold a total of 1 keyboard since I joined the community, but I've got like 3 keyboards that are just in a closet without caps on them, like just sitting there. I'm like, I should probably sell these.
Yeah, that's also my thing too, is that like I have keyboards coming in and I really don't have the space to like store all these keyboards. And to me, like all of my keyboards, I value them. Like I don't just toss them around. It's just because like even if a Savage 65 is only $200 something, you know, like it's on the lower end, to me, it's still valuable. And I'm like, if I were to sell this to someone else, I want to sell it to them to where they also feel like the board was taken care of. Like I want them to get like a good experience. If I were to sell them this board, that they also get a good experience when they receive it too.
Chewy, why are you
and that's why like, I try
keyboard?
to rotate like out my boards.
Rotate? Got it.
Why are you throwing around a keyboard? And what keyboard? Oh, your Baka.
Oh.
You're number 1. The very first. Wow. Everyone that's like in the Squid 60 group buy is like, really? He's just gonna throw it around? Come on.
Wait, what was the reason why you ended up changing the name?
Oh, it's simple. So I had the Baka. I wasn't really planning on running the Baka again. And then one of my dogs passed away and got slapped with a fat vet bill. And I mean, around that time, people, the call outs for please make Baka. Like, I want this board because it's in like Huey's hands, Quakeham's hands, IMEURU has one. You know, Cyrus and I both have one. BT Aesthetics has one. So it's a lot of these people that are, you know, it's like, hey, I have this. So that kind of ramped up. So I was like, okay, well, why don't I use this to pay off these bills. I use this group buy to pay off these bills. Be upfront about like, hey, I'm going to make money on this, but it's going towards this. And why don't I rename it the Squid 60 after the dog? So,
I see.
The real answer is Shades Chewy stole it from me.
Shades Chewy. Well, getting back to the final question of the Fast Four, the one that has nothing to do with keyboards, your top 4 favorite foods.
Top 4 favorite foods. So most of them are going to be Vietnamese food. Because I eat home cooked meals all the time, but pho is number 1. Pho is number 1. Mi Wang's probably number 2. Banh mi, and then, not gonna lie, just a good burger from Five Guys.
Hell yeah,
a good fucking burger from Five Guys. Yo, there's not a single place here that I go and get a burger from because I'm like, nothing touches Five. Nothing.
Dude, it's
right.
Just cheeseburger. For me, Five Guys, it's double cheeseburger with mustard, mayo, and grilled jalapenos. Oof.
Ooh.
I love that not many places do grilled jalapenos. And ooh.
Solid. Yeah, Five Guys consistency is where they thrive, right? Like it's always
it's a bit pricey, but you at least know what you're going to get.
But it's like it punches above its weight too. Like Five Guys, you go in and you're gonna spend like $15 on like the whole shebang with the fries and the drink, but you're gonna get your money's worth. And it's gonna be better than like you go to a restaurant and get like a fancier burger, or go somewhere else, it's going to be pretty consistent. We've got some other places out here that are pretty solid. There's one that JC's is good. We've got one out here that I've been very much enjoying called Rodeo Goat.
You told me to go. You told me to go hit up that place.
You and Doodle Bob would love it because they have a ton of vegetarian options and their cheese fries are great.
Hell yeah. Over Thanksgiving. We'll go over Thanksgiving at some point. So guys, BasickBuilds, she's been streaming for a little bit now. I cannot stress enough how great of a streamer she is. And also just the quality of the stream. Another thing I was just blown away by. Been in the community for a little bit as well. She's been on our stream and talked in chat a couple times as well. So welcome BasickBuilds to the stream.
Thank you. Yeah, so, sorry.
Oh no, you go.
Oh no, I was just gonna say it's been an incredibly insane, but like amazing ride. Like starting this whole streaming.
It's fun. Cyrus and I've been doing it for a year and a half now. At least on this channel. You've been streaming a lot longer than I have, but year and a half on Mechs on Deck at least. April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Yeah. But just over a year and a half. But how did you get into the community?
So I got into the community really because I got an RK. I believe it was an RK 60 something. Or I don't remember the name exactly, but it was from Royal Clutch. And it was their like 65% basically. And I've always had this habit of just buying a lot of these pre-built mechanical keyboards and wanting because I just wanted something different and sound and feel. And one day I came across Taya Type's channel and just kind of really started learning about keyboards. And then eventually I was like, maybe I can build something on my own too. And I love to mess around with stuff. So I love doing things with my hand, building stuff, playing the guitar, whatever the case may be. And that was after Taya's video, probably a few weeks or a month after, I bought a Tofu 65 and just messed around with it and kind of just been down the hole ever since.
And what got you into the streaming aspect? What made you want to be one of these crazy keyboard streamers that can't make mistakes because you get flustered?
So the streaming thing really was never on my mind. I never really had a thought of wanting to start streaming keyboards or streaming in general because Like that to me is just kind of such a scary step to take, like put myself out there and like for people to watch me, whether it be like 5 people or 10 people. But it was during quarantine, and my friend was just like, you know, why don't you just stream? Like do something on the side. And I've always had, you know, actually one of my best friends, she's told me that I'm in the wrong major because she thinks that I would do better off if I did something in creative, whether it be like cinematography or just, you know, anything creative related. And I just, for me, like it's something I just enjoy, but I would never like do as a career. But back to like during quarantine, my friend like really pushed for it. I was like, you know what, maybe I should do it. Like maybe I should just do it. And like I love building keyboards, so it'd be nice to share it with other people too. So that was what really pushed me.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. You know, the people, we've seen a massive increase and massive influx of streamers in the last year, especially. But the people that, if you want to be a streamer and you want to be, you know, averaging solid numbers and being able to do this to the point where you're starting to kind of have the hobby pay for the hobby, you need to start like right now. Because
I agree.
The strike while the iron's hot. Because honestly, you know, as we've said before, and I got this line from a video a long time ago from Funhouse, actually, but because you should have started like 2 years ago, right? You should have started a while back so you can kind of go in there. But yeah, but you do, and as Rachel Mabel says, you do have to commit though. It's, you know, and I've told this on stream before. I was super against streaming. I wanted to just do YouTube. I never really wanted to stream. And it wasn't until I had a long conversation with Quakeums where he was like, dude, you got to stream. Like if you want to do this and make it worth your while, you need to stream. And I was like, all right, we'll give it a shot. And then after like the first 2 months, it was like, all right, why did we ever not stream?
Yeah. Like that was like, and before I started streaming, like I basically just cooped myself up in my room for like a few weeks and just learned and took in as much as I could about cameras, audio, setting things up for streams, putting together my stream and stuff like that. Cause I was just like, I'm so scared. And and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but like that fear of, is it okay if I cuss on here?
No, dude, fucking.
Yeah, like, like I had this like fear of just fucking up, like really bad on my first.
It doesn't go away.
Yeah, and I was just like, I was always just like, I was just scared to start streaming because I was like, I don't want people to like judge me or feel like I'm incompetent or I'm not good enough to do like, especially with keyboards, right? Because I don't want people to come into my stream and like me have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. I'm like, I don't want to mislead people. And when the first stream went so well, I was just like, okay, like, this could work.
A frequent thing I say before I start doing a build is, I wonder what I'll drop today.
I mean, it's funny because like when we first started doing like build streams specifically, there's, you know, there's a lot more that like goes on, like a lot more like preparation and stuff that needs to happen. And I remember there's a couple times where both Chewy and I went into builds like just completely blind. And then it was like, we're like in the middle of a stream and like things are just going absolutely terrible. And we're both just like, the hell do we do now? And then
the fuck are you?
So
learning publicly is the worst.
Yeah.
But I think the great thing is that like taking that scuff and just rolling with it, right? Do like making a joke out of it. And that's the other thing that I've learned is that even if you actually like just fuck up on stream, it's not as bad as I thought it was, right? Because like by my third stream, my camera was like, my top cam was like shutting off. I had to turn it back on like every 30 minutes it would shut off. So I have to switch my cameras and stuff now. But it was just like, it was scuff. But as a streamer, being able to take that and just roll with it and make it funny, like is actually like a great thing too.
Yeah. Well, and it humanizes people, right? It's like if you go on and you build this perfect thing every single time, like there is something to being very good at what you do, right? That's going to bring people and go, oh, this guy is one of the best, if not the best. This girl is one of the best, if not the best. But everybody messes up. Everybody does something. I mean, I give her shit for this all the time. But Apiary built a board where she left the she left the film on the plate.
Oh yeah.
No.
And I'll give her crap for
No.
this. We all make mistakes, right? We all will do something where you're just like I built one of my own boards on the wrong layout. Like it was an Alice, and I messed up the bottom row.
No.
And I mean, it was just like, well, I guess I'm going with this forever. But it's like you just kind of have to roll with the punches. But to me, I think it humanizes people because it's like, oh, like you're just like it makes you more. It makes you more reachable. I think it makes the person go. You go, oh, well, you're like me. You make mistakes. You mess up. You have to ask questions. You have to, whenever Osiris and I have to do these crazy gasket builds, we're like pinging everyone we know who's ever built one of these boards, being like, how
do I not fuck this up?
Yeah, how make work? I was on a call for an hour and a half before I did the JO1, being like, what?
But it's one of those things too, when you do mess up, like when you have a problem with a build, it's also like super informational for the viewers, because like there are people in chat who are like they've purchased this board, or they're looking to purchase this board, and then you have like an issue, and then all of a sudden, all these people know how to handle the issue that you conquered during your stream because it happened. So it's like, it's kind of like twofold. Like you get kind of nervous about it, and you get a little bit like anxious, but then at the same time it's like it's like you said, it's how you kind of shift it, and how do you make it part of the entertainment of the stream itself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's another reason though. That's why we don't really plug in too many boards. Yeah, at least I've stopped almost entirely. I'm like, I don't really plug them in, because I'm like, the sound of this keyboard and the look of this keyboard does not matter if it works on a PCB. Like, I mean, if you want me to, I will, and it will most likely work. But after I built the Wolfmark WM1, where I had a switch messed up, and I was like sitting there and then it bothered me that I was like, oh, well, people might think that I might just send this awkwardly. But then I was like, I'm gonna fix it, but I'd rather focus whenever if I'm going to go fix something or fix a mistake or fix a PCB that's messed up, I'd rather do that off stream where there's no pressure to get it done, because the second you go off stream, you'll fix it in 5 seconds. It'll be the easiest thing in the world. But when you're in front of people, it's never going to work 100% the way you want it to. Unless you, or about half the time, it's not, it's going to, something's
it's nerve-wracking. Yeah. Actually, I was rebuilding my Space 65, and one of the things that I didn't realize was that the driver of the processor that was on that PCB, my PC never downloaded that driver, and I couldn't get it. And I didn't realize that was the reason why. Like, instead of my keyboard typing, it kind of acted as if I was using arrows and like trying to work like a function or something. I guess that's like the best way I can explain it. And on stream, like, I'm not gonna lie, like it was like nerve-wracking. I was like, oh my God, like I don't want people to think like I can't fix a keyboard or like how I'm bad at this. But I was like, you know what, like I'll just troubleshoot this off stream, and I'll come back to you guys like next week or something. And it ended up just being that updating the driver and stuff, and now it's perfectly fine. But that was like you said, like it's just like it's not hard to troubleshoot this stuff, but it's like when it happens on stream, it just sometimes it's like your mind goes haywire. And it's like,
well, you need to focus. Like, you don't want I don't want to watch someone troubleshoot something.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, as if my streams aren't long enough. Like, I don't want to keep you guys here even longer so I can troubleshoot this.
Yeah, at least they're not as long as kimchi's, right?
Yeah.
I mean, actually, I beg to differ. Last time, I was supposed to just do like a lubing and short update stream. It was supposed to be short. It ended up being 6 hours, so I had to go back and change the title because I was like, I lubed through 6 switches, 6 Vint Blacks, and I ended up 3 weren't good and 3 were good. But now I have to go back and change out the leaves and all of them because the difference was so big. I was like, I spent 6 hours on stream and I lubed 6 switches. I was like, if that doesn't get near kimchi's level, like, I don't know what does.
My
Yeah. So
gosh.
Epsilon keyboards does bring up a good point where if you feel like troubleshooting should be. The other problem with troubleshooting is sometimes a program needs to download and all this stuff. And this can start messing with your stream quality. This can start messing with OBS. You can do what I've done before, which is where you straight up short out your USB cable. I know someone else was talking about you can short out a USB port, which can really fuck your audio up. Because I've had to like literally restart a stream because I shorted a USB port, and then I couldn't hear anything. I was like, this is really awkward.
I think it depends on the situation. Like something like the Satisfaction 75, right? Like I wanted to. That was one of the first couple builds for the round 2 prototype Satisfaction 75, and it was like I wanted to show everyone, oh hey, this everything works. It's got the screen on it, but like a 60% where it's like, oh, I need to change like the backspace to being split backspace instead of standard. That stuff is like, it's like kind of boring to do on stream. And like, do you really want to watch me do it in VIA, or do you want to watch me do it in configurator and then compile and then do it in QMK? It's like I could tell you how to do that, and it's about the same as you watching me do it. So
my favorite Osiris moment ever was the 165 build, because the JST connector we discovered was a one-way JST connector.
Oh no!
I'm sitting there and I've got the stream up, but it's muted, and I'm doing something else, and I just get like 3 pings. That's just like fuck.
Well, no. It wasn't that. It was that the PCB is a bootloader PCB and it has the switch, but the switch was in bootloader mode, and I didn't even think about it. And so I like built everything, and I'm like, it was like one of the first days. It was one of the first boards after production that was built on stream. Like it wasn't a proto board; it was like an actual production board. And I was like, the PCB. I messaged Chewy during the stream. I was like, the PCB does not work. And they were like, oh crap. And I'm like, I'm not gonna let stream know that it doesn't work, but it doesn't work. But then I was like, oh wait, a little switch. And so then I flipped the switch, and then it was fine.
Boom. Easy does it. So, but yeah, that's why there are a lot of times now where I've just kind of stopped like showing that it works, because I'm like, I'm going to be using it. Like and if I'm going to get it working to where I'm going to type on this, so it's not like I'm going to, build something and then like fake my way through it just because I feel like, I guess a lot of people, I don't need to prove that at this point now, I feel like I don't need to prove that I can make a working keyboard, but I do need to prove that I can make a good sounding keyboard and a good looking keyboard. And I think that's what people look for more than does it function in the PCB, unless it's for a client and the client wants to see it, which in that case, that's a special used case. But
yeah.
And I drop shit all the time. Every single stream I drop at least one thing.
Yeah, I dropped apart the housing of my stabilizer into literally that small tub of lube, like right in front of me. Wasn't even on purpose. I literally just picked something up, it dropped in, and I never heard it more in my life than in that moment. I was like, dude, really?
Nice.
So, but I gotta ask the hard hitting question. Being a woman and streaming does come with different challenges that a lot of male streamers do not have to deal with. So how has your experience been so far, especially in a community where there are not a lot of female streamers, and how do you deal with the haters?
So I've only just recently officially been streaming for a month. I have not actually encountered any issues. Being that I'm also a woman, and I haven't encountered any haters or anything. Maybe a few spammers, but that's it. But I will say this, like, being just from watching other streamers, like being a woman and being in this community, it's like I would only hope that people do take me seriously and my opinions, like when I'm talking about keyboards, because it's like like you said, there's not that many female keyboard streamers, and there's a lot more male streamers. And I just hope that people do take me seriously and my opinions seriously, and that like I do know what I'm doing. You know, like I'm not as clueless. But in terms of haters, I definitely say I would say that like I haven't experienced any, and my community and people who come into my chat have just been super wholesome, super supportive, loving. I couldn't have asked for a better first month, and just the amount of support has been insane, like nothing I would ever think of close to even what's happening at all, like ever.
I will say I love when I tune in to like any female keyboard streamer and like someone is in chat that is just being super like misogynistic or like making really weird comments, and then like the usual people in their chat that are like the regulars just like go hard into that person. Like I love that. Like I love seeing names like people that I know just like fuck you, dude. Like sit down. Like get out of here.
Yeah.
Like it's awesome to see that the community will not only support
the rally cry.
Yeah, they right? Like not even support in the viewership, but also in like making sure that like we are standing behind each other.
I was literally gonna say I know Kiwi Kang would start throwing hands, and of course,
Kiwi is just so funny. I love Kiwi. That guy, man, no filter. I love it. I love it. It's great, and that's the other thing. It's just like this community has been incredibly supportive, like incredibly supportive. I've never been a part of a community that has been as supportive as the keyboard community, and it's been amazing. And I can't I can't thank this community enough for really giving me a chance and helping me prove to myself that like I can stream, like I can do this, you know.
I mean, respect, because I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about keyboards. This isn't like, I don't know too many hobbies that are super like you can't. I mean, really, there are no hobbies that are like you can't do this unless you are A or B or C or D or whatever you choose to identify as.
Yeah.
But it is, you know, I've talked to Keeb Noob, who one of our moderators, and she's like, yeah, people just assume I'm a guy, and it sucks because like the assumption. I mean, we look at those statistics on YouTube, we look at the statistics on Twitch, and yeah, I mean, this is definitely a more male dominated hobby. But some of my closest friends in this hobby, specifically to keyboards, are people like Apiary and Keeb Noob and Genly Bean. And you know, these because I know what they have to deal with, and two, they're just awesome fucking people. It didn't matter if they were a guy or a girl or whatever, but they are just awesome people. And
100%.
But sadly, Twitch is an unfortunate sense. There are a lot of people on Twitch that are just
yeah. Like at the end of the day, to me, like how you are as a person is what attracts me, right? Your gender doesn't matter to me. If you're just a good fucking person at the end of the day and you genuinely just have love and support for someone, like that to me is like above all else. Like, and also like the relationships, really like the people I've met this past month streaming, like if the day comes where I just stop streaming, like I would just want to keep in contact with the people who's been there, right? Because I'm like, this streaming thing, it's great, but the relationships is really what brought me here, right? And these connections that I have with people. I can stream for as many years as I want, but if I forget about the people who were there from the beginning, it doesn't matter. You know, it doesn't really matter.
RingoLeone.
Dude, what? RingoLeone, thank you for coming in and subbing tier 1 and then just turning around and gifting 20 tier 1 subs. Like, holy shit, dude.
Yo,
thank you so much.
Go!
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck, dude?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, dude. Just, you know, Keebs, it's all about vibes. And honestly, I watched your stream for like 5 minutes, and the first thing I do when I get in the stream, I see how they react to followers, and I wish we try and do that, but Cyrus and I've gotten really bad with followers, so sorry to the people. Let's go through. D-Sun, Bon Boy, UCR Jesse, Rocky, Wasabs, Fire Spittin' Kitten 8, Lexi Galleon 97. Thank you for the follows, everyone who follows. But I love watching how they interact with chat, and then the second thing I do is scroll down and go, let's see what they're streaming with. Like, I like seeing the gear and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, because especially like because you in Disco Crocodile, because I think one of the first questions I was like, you came from photography. It was like, people who've got these nice of streams know what they're doing beforehand. Like, and those are the two that jump out to me that I'm like, why have I never, like, when I see something that good, I'm like, why have I not heard of this person before? And you just blew me away. And then of course I was like, oh, and you're in the sneaker game, like, duh.
Come on. That's something I do a lot in my chat. It's like if someone says something, I'm like, come on, bro. But yeah, like that I have like different interests, and it's so nice when you like meet people who have the same interests as well. And I also like love it when I see someone have like a crazy reaction to something, whether it be small or big. It's just like so interesting to me.
You get to really read who people are with the crazy reactions.
Yeah.
So I felt bad because you were giving like a very heartfelt moment, and then fucking give that 20. Ringo hit him. We're like, oh
yeah. I was like trying not to like.
That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, but that's like when you see like when someone drops like 20 subs, it's just like you're fucking insane. Like you just dropped 20 subs, bro, or like even 5 subs, because I think it's also knowing like how much it costs to sub to someone, and then you see like this number, or like someone just gifting the subs, like someone's willing to just give subs, like their hard-earned money to like you, a streamer, right?
Dude, it's still absolutely insane that people will like give us money, like just here's $5 every month, or here's my Twitch Prime that I can only use on one person every month. Like, it's just crazy. Like the keyboard community is so insanely supportive towards the streamers. Like, I was actually looking at it a couple days ago and I like to look at the Twitch like statistics and see where different channels are. And like, I think if you took all of the keyboard streamers and you like averaged out their average viewership, the average viewership per streamer for keyboards would be way higher than any other like category on Twitch.
Yes. Full stop. Yes.
Like, it's just nuts because like you've got people like you just started like last month, and you've got a bump in stream. You got people in there, active chat. Like, obviously it's a lot of it is your amazing personality, which you're great at being interactive with your chat and like keeping things going. There's never like downtime. It's like never boring. But there's people who just start, and then like 2 weeks later they've got, they're averaging like 15, 20 viewers, sometimes even way more than that. Whereas like you go stream, Counter-Strike or what's the Among Us, like you'll get like 2 viewers, and you'll get 2 viewers for like 2 years. Like, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'll be on like our Twitch. I'll go read like the people are like, I've been streaming for 8 months and I just got to 20 followers. I'm like,
crazy.
This community has really blinded me to what Twitch is, to what the actual grind on Twitch is. RingoLeone, thank you for giving out more gifted subs. That's 2 more to Tim Keelis and Kiwi Kang. Thank you. Thanks for the.
Oh, just want to drop a quick hello to chat. By the way, I see you guys saying hello. I just I didn't want to interrupt. But hello, everyone.
Just tell us to shut the fuck up next time.
No. Come on, I can't do that.
Just this is no longer an interview. It's just a BasickBuilds takeover.
Yeah, it's just the BasickBuilds is pushing me out. pushing me and
Nah.
Basic Builds.
I
It's just
could
gonna be
never.
Mex on Basic Builds deck.
I could never. But I do agree with what you're saying. I don't know if anyone in chat or if you guys watch Harris Heller, the Alpha Gaming channel. So he does a lot of
we are
content
big
on
supporters.
Twitch. Yeah. So he does a lot of content relating to Twitch and stuff. And when I watch his videos and he's like, how do you grow your Twitch? How do you average your viewers? And watching other people's videos on that, it really made me realize that it really is hard to grow on Twitch. It is not easy. And like you said, Cyrus, like when you go into the makers and crafters, you really just see a bunch of keyboard streamers.
Yeah.
Right? Because our numbers are high. But it's like, that's why like I try to like keep in mind that like I'm really lucky to be here because I'm like, I got affiliate in 2 days. And I was like, there are people who take months,
years even,
weeks, years even before they get to that. And it's just like, and like you said also, Chu, like you being in this community has blinded some of that, like the reality of what Twitch is. Like it's not an easy platform to grow on unless you do YouTube, unless you do things outside of Twitch and then migrate those viewers over to here.
Yeah, I mean, because even like Osiris, when he was doing the gaming streaming, I mean, you had solid numbers, but it paled in comparison to the growth rate of Mex on Deck versus the growth rate of your gaming stream. And because I was kind of expecting it to be maybe a little bit better because we spent a lot of time, like Mex on Deck was like a 5-month planned, like let's do this, let's start inserting ourselves in Discords and trying to do things to get our names out there so that when we start going, hey, by the way, we're going to start this, like we kind of can hit the ground running. But Cyrus went from like about over the course of a month or two, going from like 2 to 5 to 7 to 10 to getting up into the teens, and it was great watching the growth. And then like I was like, all right, well, let's kind of see that over the next year. It's like 2 months later we're hitting like 34. I was like, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just
That's
crazy. Like it really is crazy to look when you actually look at the websites that show like actual statistics and you think, okay, there's roughly 6.5 million active streamers per month, right?
Yeah.
There are a total of like 46,000 partnered channels. And this community that is relatively tiny, right? Like I would say we've got maybe 50 active streamers, maybe more than that. We have like 6 partnered streamers in our one little community, like and
most everyone's affiliated.
Yeah, and like everyone's affiliated, and some people are on their way to being partner or like qualify in terms of like viewership, but maybe they don't stream enough. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
It is. It's literally like this community has surprised me more than in one way. Like just wow. Like the only word I can use that would make any sense is just wow. Like
yeah, it's
capitalize
it's wow. It's still it blows me away. And Osiris and I talk because literally Mex on Deck came in November of 2018.
Yeah,
we were sitting in my living room and we were like, it was right at the beginning of the meteoric rise of Teja. And we were like, we should do something like this. But the only thing is we don't have a lot of boards. And the sad truth of starting streaming back then is no one's going to really take you seriously if you haven't typed on a lot of these boards and you haven't built a lot of these boards. If all we've built are like 3 boards and a lot of them beginner boards, people aren't going to take you seriously because it's going to seem like you don't know what you're talking about. We're like, okay, well, let's planning, let's insert, let's get some of these boards in and yada, yada. And that was also the same night that the Orange 75, which is like doubly more important to that of why that board exists. And it's just crazy to me that conversation had so much of an interesting trajectory on both of our lives now at this point, because it's, I would never have imagined 2 years ago that this is where we would be.
Yeah, like I definitely like when I started, I was like, we're gonna grow slow. It'll be slow and steady. Just be chill and yeah, no, like it's
Absolutely.
shocked in more than one ways.
But Cyrus, before we shift gears, anything else you'd like to spew on the topic
of streaming? No,
of
I'm just
streaming?
super. It's one of those things. Every time I look at different things and I go through different categories, I watch a lot of Twitch personally. Like I don't watch TV really. Like I watch football, YouTube, and Twitch, and it's mainly Twitch. So it's always super crazy when I see people who like I see them stream every day and they stream to like 10 viewers and they've been streaming for like 4 years, and I'm like, we've been streaming for a year and a half and we have like 10 times the viewership as these people, and it blows my mind. And like this person's trying way harder. They're streaming like 9 hours a day. Like it's just crazy.
I couldn't imagine streaming like 9. Even when you used to stream 5 hours. I was like, that blows me away. I mean, gaming's a little different because I feel like, you're like a talk show for 5 hours would be a lot more time consuming and mentally draining. But if you're sitting there playing a game, I mean, you could play a game for a long time, but but the one thing I want to talk about is something that this is kind of personally how I felt. I feel like maybe, just maybe, with how things are going, that we've kind of settled, the community has kind of settled into a groove, settled into a standard, right? Of, how do you want to sell a board? We'll make it 65%, throw gaskets on it and sell it, and try and sell as many as you can. And how do you sell a key set? Well, let's stick to some desaturated colors, keep the alphas white, and try and sell it, right? And it does beg the question of, has the community gotten stale? I feel like the keycap sets and the keyboards that we've seen this year versus the keycap sets and the keyboards we saw in 2019, there's just this massive difference. And the first question I'll bring up is, well, in 2019, when in April of 2019, when GMK exploded and everybody was able to make every set, was that because we got to finally try out all these sets and now we've kind of run out of that creative juice, or have we actually just kind of gotten stale?
I do agree that I feel like we have gotten a little stale in terms of different designs and stuff, right? Because at the growth of the community right now has been exponential. Really, like we see more newcomers coming in almost every day. And it does feel like a lot of the keyboards that I've seen recently have kind of been safe, like in terms of design. Gasket, a lot of gasket this year. Like 65%, a lot of 65%. There hasn't been a keyboard that to me was like, that's innovative. Like I want to get on in that board. And the only board that I felt about that way was the 7V by Gawk. The way he designed it, it's so nice. And I believe he based it off of like architecture, because he was like learning about it. And the design and his explanation of it was so interesting. And I was like, this is something I can get behind. Like, this is just so interesting. And on top of that, like he's using is it a leaf? What is it? What is it called?
Like leaf
because the
springs?
PCB
leaf spring plate.
Yeah, leaf spring. I believe it's the PCB.
Oh,
it's the PCB, okay. And it was just so interesting to me because like I really don't see a lot of those, And I've seen so many gasket lately that it's just like, oh, dude, like a lot of these keyboards just don't interest me. Just they're a lot of it is the same, and I agree to you. Like it does feel like it's gotten stale, and a lot with keycap sets too. I don't think I've joined a lot this year either, because a lot of them are the same. I want to see more colors keycap set. Like, give me saturation. Give me something different. Give me Handerbite. Handerbite is so mean, but give me something like that. Like, give me just something that is like, oh, like I can't put this on every board, but it's different. It's nice, right? How many streams have you gone into, or how many like build videos that you've watched where it's like Olivia, minimal, white on black, like the core sets, because they're just easy to put on. But I want something different,
Yeah, where's GMK Skeletor to save the day when you need it?
Yeah, that too.
I think it's interesting because I feel like we're not I feel like we're not seeing less innovation. I feel like the same like usual suspects are pushing things forward. But the thing is we're seeing all this new stuff that's just like basically recycling, right? So like all the stuff that's getting added on top of what was kind of already there is like all recycled. And I feel like it's because, you take Smith and Rune, for example, right? The Iron 165 was born out of the fact that they didn't get in on another board, but they didn't like say, well, we're going to make that board and we're going to make it, real similar to that because we just want to get one. They went to the drawing board and they said, how can we make this better? And I feel like there's a lot of people that aren't necessarily doing that. I think there's a lot of people who are just like, what can I make that looks cool and that checks all these boxes? Not like, how do I take this and how do I spin the approach of it and how do I make it, feel a certain way or sound a certain way? They're just trying to like check feature boxes. It's almost like the car industry where it's like, does it have adaptive cruise control? Check.
Yeah.
Does it have all-wheel drive? Check.
That's how the GMMK Pro felt. It was like, all right, well, let's see if we can hit all these flashy terms with this. I think, to me, what impresses me more is almost taking a step back, right? It's how did you do, instead of it, not everything has to be crazy innovation. I think the two boards that shine out to me the most are the 165 and the Evolve. The Evolve was crazy. And watching it kind of go from stage to stage was insane. The reason I'm not putting the 180 on there is, while obviously both took a lot of work separately, the 165 kind of did that first because that was the first board they went for. And I am sure that I'm sure going from nothing to 165 was harder than going from 165 to 180. Now, I'm not Smith and Rune. I can't speak for them. I'm sure both boards had their challenges. But those two boards stick out to me because I'll use the Bower as an example, and I'm going to use the Crown, which is the keyboard that I have, which is, instead of trying to push things forward, maybe we haven't quite perfected what's in front of us right now. And to me, what I think the Bower did and what the Crown did is the Bower said, we're going to take 65%, we're going to change it a little bit with this layout, but we're going to see about doing everything we can to perfect gasket mounting. I want this perfected. The Crown, to me, was, I want to take something that's really good and just and add things to it that are only going to improve it, but not be anything crazy. The Crown was a private buy by Blind Assassin, and it's essentially a Jane V2 or a mech, what's the MK1, or I can't remember the name of the other board that it's kind of designed after. But
Matrix?
No, so I'd have to ask him. I know it starts with an M though.
M27.
M27. Thank you. Where it's taking these boards and going, well, let's improve upon something we know is already good and make it great. And I think the boards that really shine are the ones that are going, let's not rewrite the wheel. Let's improve on what's already good.
Yeah. Well, that's what Jack's
pushing the envelope.
Yeah, for sure. And Jack Static asked about what innovation did the Iron 165 have. The plate, right? Like they took the 65% design that people knew and loved, and then they did all this scientific work to make the plate feel as consistent as possible, and they translated it to the 180, and they did it in their own way, which makes it different. I get it if it's been done, but if you do it in your own way and people enjoy it, and I think it does, they succeeded in it.
Yeah, I mean that's the big thing is Doesn't matter. Like, we'll use the magnets, the whatever, the lodestone. What if the lodestone kind of works, but then someone else comes along and perfects it? Well, it's like, cool. The lodestone, congratulations, you had the idea first, but if they perfected it and did it better, then lodestone's a thing of the past, right? You can make something, but if someone comes along and does it better, people are going to forget about it. People are going to forget. I mean, the meme.
I was literally about to say the meme was kind of a failure, and gaskets have taken over the world now. Yep. So
if you're the one to perfect it, it's great. So, and it just makes me think that with boards, I'm starting to see, like, are you just doing this when I see people who are checking boxes? And I'm not trying to shit on GMMK Pro. This is not honestly, this topic came
Give
up.
us the hot take.
This topic didn't come to me with GMMK Pro in mind. It came to me with seeing a lot of these 65% gasket boards. I'm like, oh, it's another 65% gasket board. It's another 65% gasket board. Where I'm like, maybe you're just, good on you for inserting more keyboards into the world, but like, do we need, like, you're not doing anything to push things forward, or at least trying to? You're kind of just checking boxes at this point.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. Like, we need some innovation, or like you said, like just pushing the envelope of what's already, in front of us. And, while yes, the innovation and revisions can't be pushed as quickly as larger companies, I still think it's, when someone does a design, I would prefer them to not rush it, take some time. It's like, all right, we have this standard, right? Now, how do we push the envelope of what this keyboard could be and make it exciting and make the community excited to have something new to try, Because it's like, there will be people who will pay for it. Even if it's more expensive than, $300, $400, it's still something, right? And it's still something new. And if it works out and there's a demand for it later, like, now you can go back, do it again, and then improve or make a different board.
Dude,
and Moon, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just saying, all I'm saying is Moon's talking about design and aesthetic. Get me some Geist machine boards, because that dude is putting out some freaking heat with his aesthetic builds and aesthetic designs. Like,
Absolutely.
his stuff is insane.
And that's where I think, where it's like, maybe instead of trying to push, we either do something that's going to push or do something that's going to perfect. But when I see a rectangle that doesn't have that many curves, and maybe it's got a cool weight design, your weight design, this is whatever. Your weight designs are cool. Your badge, it's cool. I don't care though, unless that, for whatever reason, that speaks to me very clearly. I don't really care. I don't care for badges really at all. And your weight design, most of the time, I'm not going to care that much. There's really not a weight design that I'm the best one I think ever done. TX, just a slab. Just throw me a giant block of brass on the back.
Also, I want to point out, like, GionWorks F18X, right?
Yeah.
So I've heard, and I haven't confirmed this myself, but I've heard that he's done a lot of simulations on, like, the plate and why there's certain cutouts the way they are. And it was just like, that's the kind of innovation I like seeing. It's like, he literally went through everything he could and see what worked and what didn't work. And that's why I feel like it's also been so hyped as well, right? Like, it's hard for, well, one, because it's hard for people to get it, but two, it's like, it's a great board. It's just a great board that checks the boxes, but also, tested, like tried and true and tested.
Bring back tray mount. KH41. Hell yeah, man.
Dude, that's the other thing is, like, when are we going to start seeing some, like, throwback boards? Like, we had, like, M0110, which took forever to deliver. But, like, when are we going to see things that are just like, yeah, this is just tray mount? Mechanisk is, like, pioneering. He's, like, the sole provider of tray mount other than, like, KBD fans. And like, when are we gonna see stuff that's like top mount where people don't get mad? Like, people were upset that Satisfaction 75 round 2 wasn't gasket, and I'm like, the first round was top mount, like it was good.
Yeah, does it need to be gasket to be good? No, it
All
doesn't.
I'm saying, Fox Lab keyboards, orange 75 or orange 80 round 2, let's go.
Orange 75 round 2, so you can get a damn PCB for your...
Well, hopefully they won't work because they design it in a better way to where it's a daughter board and not just a freaking finger on the PCB.
Hell yeah. So, and with boards, and that there's a lot to dive into, but I just wanted to touch on that. But with key sets, while there's some cool stuff, maybe it's oversaturation, not in the color sense, but in the sense of there's just so many things now, right? There's so many cool key sets. We're not getting, I think a lot of people are upset because you're either getting a key set that could be having warped space bars from GMK, but other than that, we're getting them 9-10 months late, or you're getting shit from Infinity that is not even close to what you're paying for with some of this other stuff. So I'm like, maybe we're just jaded right now in the community with caps, because what's going to sell? Pick a color, insert it into the GMK Carbon, GMK Olivia, GMK Cafe, which Olivia Cafe are the same, right? But insert that into that formula and it's going to sell, right? And guess what? I love it. I think Cafe looks great. I think Ursa looks great. You're kind of tweaking it with changing a little bit, with Cafe having the mocha color as opposed to like a true gray, but we're kind of inserting it into this tried and true formula. And I'm like, that's cool, but how many do we need? When are we going to? I think a reason people kind of like Mizu is it was different, right? It was a breath of fresh air at that time. Mm-hmm. Now it's like, whew, we got so many different things, and I'm not saying things need to be hindered by it, but are we running out of things?
Colors, like bold colors. That's the other thing. Like right now, my most favorite keycap set in terms of like ones with color is GMK Masterpiece. I love that set. It is such a nice set, and it's a bit of a break from what we usually see. Like I've never seen a blue keycap set other than Mizu that I really like, aside from GMK Masterpiece. Now I personally think that set was kind of slept on. I personally thought that set was kind of slept on. Not a lot of people jumped on it right away. But it's such a good set. It's like if you know, you know.
Yeah.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Dude, that one, and then the other one was Sumi, where it was like the standard mold but inverted. So like light modifiers, dark alphas.
Yeah.
Like,
which is, it's hard to do, and if done correctly goes great. But like, blind answer, what's the most recent hyped delivered keycap set?
Most hyped delivered? Yeah, like
okay,
I can
not Olivia. Okay, sorry, new, not round 2. Moon got it. It's Bingsu. Why? Because it's fucking different.
Yeah, I mean, it's
true.
It's like same. It's similar to Mizu in the way that it's like two colors, and then it's like light version of color, dark version of color, bright accent,
bright ass white to really make that shine through. We've seen it. I think Terra was good. If they can get the freaking color samples to actually show up, I think Terra might fall into that. With that kind of, it falls under that same thing. I would love, a lot of people like Hamon. That kind of falls under the same thing. Although Hamon does it in not desaturated colors, they're doing it in bright ass colors. But we haven't really seen it in like a red yet. I mean, it might be close to Bingsu. It might be hard to avoid that purple, but I feel like there are a lot of sets that you can do that have these alphas that look quite strange at first, but they might fucking slap. And I think Mizu and Bingsu are just two sets that really stick out you know, when you're looking at a meetup, right, and you're looking at hundreds and hundreds of boards, you're going to find you're going to catch a couple things. You're going to catch the ones the fucking what's the keycaps that we were just talking about last night? It's got the aesthetic keycap. I need to go look at it.
GMK
Analog Dreams. Analog Dreams. You're going to see that shit from across the fucking room.
Yeah,
that thing is going to stick out. That's a set that I know. Like, I know Osiris and I are both. Maybe we probably missed a good opportunity to get on that set, because that's something that stands out. It's different. It shows. It's a lot of different colors, and I really think these sets that are kind of doing crazier things have this better payoff. Waves is another one that's really good. It's subtle, but then that green pops up. The green pops off. Like, to me, one of the best alphas ever done is Waves.
Yeah, the alphas look great.
Yeah.
The alphas are so good.
Also, GMK Halu, that's a good set too. I love GMK Halu. That is a great looking set.
So, and while playing it safe is nice, and it's, you know, it's arguable if I mean, it's needed. Some of these, you know, black on white, white on black, those sets, in my opinion, are staples. They're needed. Things like Dolch, where you kind of have that gray, and Honeywell, those are great sets that are kind of needed. But outside of those, you really you're either kind of inserting the next, like, okay, well, like GMK Deep Navy. That's something that was like, people wanted monochrome navy, so here's monochrome navy. It's going to look great because it's clean. It's got, you know, it's what I said, piano aesthetic. It's going to look fantastic. People are going to get their Navy Satisfaction 75s and throw Deep Navy on it. It's going to look super clean. But in regards to things that are like what people are really, really hyped for, is I think going to be some of these sets. When the sets that you see at a meetup, you're going to see it and go, oh, fuck yeah.
Like that's the set. That's it. Full stop. And I like that you brought up Bingsu, because I actually so I got in on the extras. And initially, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't like my favorite set. But the more I looked at it, the more it grew on me. And I was like, oh, actually, this is a nice set. Like, this is a really nice set. And I have it on the montage that I have, which is in the peacock blue, and it's just like a great match. It's so nice.
Yeah,
I think Bingsu looks so fucking clean on your Sirius, man.
Yeah.
Like,
that's my work board right now. Just because it's easy, I can fit it in my backpack and take it every day. Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. We've seen a lot of like sets that were memes. They were April Fool's jokes get made, and that's like done really cool things. It's always a fresh of breath air, a breath of fresh air for the community. You know, sets like Redacted we had earlier this year, Cool Kids, EPBT, Cool Kids.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Cool Kids I like the way he's doing like the alphas. That's such a like cool way to design it. I love it.
I mean, this community is all about like stylization. Like, I feel like we could just expand so much more on the way we do our keycap sets, the approach for things. You know, it's kind of one of those deals. There is a limit to it, but like, have fun. I feel like people are they're so worried about like, are people gonna like this? Does it fit a narrative? Does it fit the role that keycaps normally fit? And it's like, don't worry about it. Just do whatever the fuck you want.
Or hitting MLQ. That's like the other thing too.
Yeah, that's what bothers me. Retro Maple, I also want a skillet. That's what bothers me. Are you making a set because you want a set, or are you making a set for it to sell? If you're making a set for it to sell, go get yourself a GMK color wheel and then just make black monochrome and add some accent keys, like, because it's gonna sell. But if you want something that's gonna fucking look cool, like Osiris has been working on a set that I've been kind of waiting for a while. So, you know, maybe just fucking design it already.
The problem is that now, because I've waited so long, there are other sets that are similar. And I'm like, do I even need to do this now? But it's like a way different. It's like, I mean, it's not like what we were talking about being super overly saturated, but it is a different style.
It's a different vibe.
Yeah, than what
100%.
people would be used to.
You can't talk about pushing the envelope if you don't design it. That's wrong. You gotta do it now. Now that we've talked about it, you gotta do it now.
I showed initial renders that I had done like well over a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
And to some people, and they were like, "You need to run this. Like, you need to do this like now." And I'm like,
run it.
I don't know.
Well, what's funny, we talk about their either perfect. I don't want to say perfect because of what I'm about to say, but do your best to make the best going backwards, right? Take what you have in front of you and make it as good as possible, or push the envelope. And I always feel like Osiris and I are in that limb where Osiris wants to push the envelope. He wants to take things and make it. The board that he wants to make is probably, unless we win the lottery, is not going to be made.
There are things that I would want to do on a board that would be like when you're talking about pushing, like doing different things for like aesthetics, where I'm like, this would be so doable and it would look so freaking cool. And I'm just like, why don't people do this? But then I like talk to someone about the cost and I'm like, yeah, this is not worth it.
That's exactly why people, because that's also a thing where it's like, yeah, you'd have to have a prototype before going into group buy. But whereas, with like take the baka or squid, that was definitely something that was like, I want to take things that exist and make them better, or make them and take the bad out of good boards, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's that's why I think a lot of things work nowadays. A lot of things that people love is because they're looking at stuff, and when they're starting this ground up, they're going, what doesn't work? Because sometimes it's best to go off of what are people doing that's not right? What are people doing that's failing, or at least just bland, and how can we spice it up a bit?
Yeah. So the Keep Noob actually has a question. She asked, when you do an interest check for a keycap set, do you already have to have a vendor for it? I don't.
I mean,
so.
Technically, no.
No. Yeah. I mean, depends.
But a lot of people do have it lined up because they're talking to the vendors, I think.
Yeah.
But I mean, technically, an interest check is supposed to be. You're not supposed to have
interest.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I think a lot of times they start with not having a vendor, and they're probably already in those talks with vendor. Like they already have sent out like feeler messages or something. But a lot of vendors also want to see, interactions on the interest check. Vendors want to see how many times the post has been viewed, because if people aren't looking at it, if no one's commenting on it, then it's like, should I really try to pick this up? But a lot of vendors also just are like, I like this, I'll take it.
Yeah. Like like with interest checks, I just assume like it's an interest check. You're just trying to get people's interest in it. And I feel like actually Moon said like if you don't, you're in a better position as a designer to make more money if it is hyped. Right? So if it's an interest check and like you get a bunch of interest for it, and then you're like, okay. And then you send it into a vendor. It's like, all right, I got this much interest for it. Like, there's clearly like people clearly want this.
Yeah, because like maybe you settled for TX before before you posted it, and it got super hype. Which cool and all. And like TX isn't a bad vendor by any means; they're a fantastic vendor. But like, it's very obvious and apparent when you look at key set numbers, sets that are on places like Canon Keys, Dixie Mech, Novel Keys. They just sell a little bit more. They've got a baked in customer base that are on their websites every month, checking things out. You could go there. You could maybe you take a little bit less of a cut in terms of profit, but you're going somewhere that's going to net you, 20% extra in sales.
Yeah. Which is, it makes sense, right? It would just simply make sense to go for someone bigger, and go with who might have the right fit, because also a lot of these vendors, you might want to go with someone that, like, I know Dixie is going to offer help and assistance, and like, hey, maybe we kit it this way, or maybe you do it this way, or maybe you this way or that way or whatever. And you're going with the vendor is not just, here are the colors, and just send me a check. No, you have to work with them too. And so, like personally, I'd probably hit up Dixie. I'm good friends with Dixie. He's not only a great vendor, but a great friend. And I mean, great to work with. Whereas if I don't know someone, or I know someone's a lot more hands off, like Drop is probably not going to work with you a whole lot in regards to how you want to do it. It's going to be like, you send us the colors, we'll take it from here.
Yeah.
So a lot less personal of an experience. So, but other than that, I don't want to say, I was just talking about this idea with Langlandia before stream, but like, it's like, there are some aspects I feel like that have gotten stale, but it could be just maybe not stale, but maybe just oversaturated. And I think a lot with the keycaps has to do with, are we running out? How many times can you make something look good and not accidentally copy someone?
Yeah. 100%. 100%.
So, but guys, if you have questions for us, if you have questions for Miss Basic Builds, hit @Mex on deck so it's easier for us to find those questions. And ask away. Ask about. Maybe don't ask. I've had a lot of questions asked my way that I didn't really want to answer.
Well, what was it, Chewy? You said earlier you had like 47 questions in like 3 minutes from
this kid. He asked me 40. It wound up being 48 questions in about 30 minutes.
Oh, God.
I was like,
oh, God.
Yep. Nope.
So it looks like Mason asked a question. Yep. He's like, Basic, here's a fun one for a ball or for gas. So you guys know about pho, right?
Yes.
Like the Vietnamese. So I like pho ball. I like the beef better than the chicken because it's hard to make like good chicken pho. That's my take on it. I'm like, maybe my mom, she went to California with my dad on a trip and she tried this pho guy, and I don't remember what it's called, but that's the only one that I've ever tried that she made, and I was like, oh, that's really good. Other than that, it's like a glorified chicken noodle soup, but Vietnamese take on it.
I was thinking, I was like, man, I am not a fan of chicken noodle soup or anything that is close to a soup that has chicken in it, because I got sick one time and then that just ruined it for me for the rest of my life.
It's one of the like 4 things you don't eat.
True, it is. I eat quite a bit of literally anything except for like specific nuts, chicken noodle soup, and that's about it.
Yeah, like to me, pho ball just has a lot more complexity in terms of flavor and like the depth of flavor. That like if you want something cleaner, like just a very clean dish, pho is the way to go. But pho ball, way better.
Yeah, to me, I think like with chicken is supposed to be the center point, not an add-on. Like when you start losing it, the only thing that I'll disagree with on this is like maybe a burrito, but for the most part, I want my chicken to be the main part, not like something that's kind of thrown in with a lot of other things, because chicken's either going to fade into the background or it's going to be your center point. It doesn't really do a whole lot in the middle.
I think a dish that you might enjoy, and specifically like focus on the chicken, is this Vietnamese dish we have called gum ga, which is basically chicken and rice.
Can you spell that for me? Because I'm totally going to go get this.
Gum is like COM and then space gas GA. I'm pretty sure that's how you spell it. I'm
Vietnamese chicken and rice. That's the first thing.
Vietnamese chicken and rice. It's so good. It's so good because you so for how my mom makes it is that she uses a whole chicken and she makes it and then she makes a stock, which ends up becoming like the soup that you have on the side. And the chicken is like the main centerpiece. And you have like
chicken broth rice.
Sauce.
Nice.
A dipping sauce, which is fish sauce, which is sweetened with a little bit of sugar and ginger and some like pepper. And it's so good. It is so good. Like so good. She would actually use the stock that she made with the chicken to cook the rice as well. So it's like just a flavor bomb. Like if you want chicken dish, like I'm talking like chicken, that's like
I'll have to
ask for that.
figure out a place to go. And Moon, I swear to God, if you talk about Viet Cajun food one more time,
we never even went, did we?
Yeah, we never went, and he wouldn't shut up about it for 4 hours driving to Houston.
Dude, although we did have that dinner we had that night was pretty bomb.
It was good. I forgot what you had, but you had something that was really good.
I just remember dropping something in your drink.
You dropped a piece of steak in my water.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, try this. And it was just like,
that's right. I got filet mignon and it was really good.
Yeah, it was really, I was like, cool. Well,
we had a question earlier that it was from token_GMK. Asked, what are your thoughts on the Andromeda, the TKL by Mr. AI03?
AI03 does not make bad stuff.
He doesn't.
That's all I need to say.
If we don't talk about the price, hands down, easy cop. That's like literally all I have to say. Like, if we're not thinking about the money and money like isn't a factor, like easy cop. It's designed differently. I love the curves on it. That side profile is sexy as hell. Yeah, easy cop. Cop.
It's one of those things. Is it expensive? Yes. But is it going to be good? Also, yes. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I built a Kepler, right? Mm-hmm. It was one of the most expensive boards from a retail standpoint that this hobby had seen. I think it might have been the most expensive, at the time, group buy board at the time. Was it really good? Yes, it was. Yeah. Like, it was really good.
I think the only other board at that price was the tank edition of the Koyu.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, yeah.
Which that board is also really good too.
God, the legend of the tank Koyu just showing up out of nowhere, man.
The tank Koyu that was covered in fingerprints, no name tag on it, nothing, just sitting by itself on a table.
After the meetup was over. So Fuberger asks, how do you manage content to stream if you're only a few months into the hobby and you only have a couple boards with no one sending you boards to build? One build a week. Don't. We've seen it happen before. You have 4 or 5 builds. You get really excited. You build those 5 builds in a 2-week period, and then you're done. You're dead. You got Osiris and I build 1 board a week most times. This year we've been good. We had a couple lulls because we don't. Osiris and I have always been kind of talking first, build second. There are a lot of people building, but you have to space them out. If we have a full month of builds, Osiris and I are only building 2 builds each. So where some people build 3 builds a week, don't compare. And that's the other thing. Don't compare yourself to the people that build a lot of boards.
Yeah. Or do something different, like people in chat are saying, like desolder rebuild with different switches, or get like a hot swap board and get like a whole bunch of switches and do, testing, do like more informational about switches. Like, there's not really a whole lot of people that are doing that on Twitch.
Yep. Lube streams, they're tough. They're difficult to do right. But if you can beat basic, if you get seven switches done in 6 hours. So if you go for 8 switches in 6 hours, then you're good. But no, I mean, yeah, it's about finding other content. Mechs on Deck was founded off of the idea of creating content that was different from what was currently at the time.
We have a question from. Oh, sorry.
I was just last thing I was gonna say. Find your niche. Try and make it different, or do it better than everybody else.
100%. 100%. Actually, funny you bring that up. So I was in a Discord call with a few of the homies and someone who's also a fellow streamer. He was, talking about like, we were talking about my growth and then a bunch of other things. And I saw that he likes coffee. And we were talking about how like he could do something different where maybe in the middle of stream, he makes coffee and then talk about it and does reviews and stuff. And I think that'd just be interesting. Like, find something different and roll with it. Make it something like yours. Also, Gnarly Charlie asked, as a sneaker pimp, I'm not, but thank you for giving me the title. What's your favorite kicks and rotation right now? So I got out of the sneaker game quite a while ago. So I stick to the basics, right? Air Force One lows in white. And I have my Ultra Boost in all black. Those are my two rotations, but that's also because like I'm going to school back and forth and going to work. And Adidas Superstars.
The classics. You can't beat the classics.
What were your jams when you were in the thick of the sneakerhead game?
In the thick of it, I have to say like the Yeezys, like the first drop of Yeezys that Kanye did with Adidas, the way those look were my favorite. The newer ones, I'm sorry, they just look so big and bulky, especially like in the toe. It's just so wide there. I'm just like, I don't like this look. Like it just makes my feet look huge.
I like them more because it looks like those shoes actually might fit me.
But
my biggest fear.
Yeah, I think Chewy. I don't think 350s, 350 V2s.
They're not really. I would have to go. I would legitimately have to go try them on.
Yeah.
And there was another thing, man. We had when we were going to go to Denver, we were like, we're going to go hit up these 3 sneaker shops on an off day, and dude, fucking quarantine, man. So we got thoughts on the HMKB. This is Retro Maple asking, considering the talk of innovative keyboards earlier, personally haven't seen a bent metal case aside from the recent Saturn 60. There was some, I can't remember the name of them, but there was one that did bent steel. It was about a year and a half ago.
It was Southpaw.
Well, there was Southpaw, but there was another one too that did bent steel. I think they're cool. I think that they have that very industrial look to it. But it's can they deliver, right? Can they deliver a good product?
Yeah.
So let's see. Did we talk about the GMMK Pro already? I mean, we've talked about it a bunch before. If you want to look through our thoughts, I know Top Clack, Cyrus was on Top Clack. You can go watch that VOD, and they went really in detailed about it. We talked about it a little bit our last couple streams, but they went really in depth on that. So, and also shout out to Top Clack. So let's see. Frankenstein switches, dude. Frankenstein switches is where it's at. Thoughts on the Zhao Long Bao? I think is that how you say it? Token GMK thing.
Zhao Long Bao. It's the dumpling with the soup inside, right? Hold on, let me make sure.
Am I saying that?
Okay, correctly? Soup dumpling. Yeah, you said it. You said it right. My thoughts on it. So I haven't personally had any like authentic Xiaolong Baos, but from the ones I did have, it's good. I like it because it's soup inside of a dumpling. Like it's like, and it's one of those things where like you can either get it really right or you can get it really wrong. It's the same thing like with sushi, right? Like if you go to Japan and you go to Jiro Sushi or like a big name brand where they train 10 years before they even serve, it's like one of those things.
So Moon asks, do you fear bigger brands coming in?
Yes and no. Yes and no, because since Glorious has kind of come into the community, and after seeing the whole thing that's kind of going on with the GMMK Pro, like I went to their blog post, and the comments are just like, some of the comments were like, oh yeah, fuck the people who are charging $300-$400 for a board, da 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 da. And it's like, I'm happy they're here because it gives more options for people who are just coming into the community to test out different things, right? That's great. But at the same time, it's dividing this community in the way that I don't want to see happen. Like, I want us to be able to come together and be happy that there are new things being introduced so that we give like new people or people who just want to mess around an option, so they don't have the money to spend $300 $400. But at the same time, it's like, understand that a $300 $400 board, someone's blood, sweat, and tears went into designing that, and that's something they genuinely value. And there's just no way that a smaller designer can scale the same way that Glorious can. And I feel like sometimes people forget that, or like even people are just coming in. It's like, dude, it's not like these designers or vendors are trying to rip you off. It's literally just like they can't scale the same way Glorious can. And it's different designs. Glorious has one design that they're going to run over and over and over and over and keep it in stock. So clearly with that scaling and how much they're ordering, their pricing can go down that low. But with other designers, it's like you got to cap at a certain point. Like even if their vendors are helping them. Right. And I feel like the 7V is the only group buy that I've ever seen that did an unlimited group buy on a board. Even then, that's risky, you know?
It's one of those things, and I said this on Top Clack on last week, because we talked a lot about this. This was kind of basically our entire topic was talking about what the big companies coming in means for the community, and I kind of related it to audio, right? Where that hobby, when it was small, it was very niche. Like everyone kind of knew each other, everyone knew all the brands. But then it grew and grew and grew, and the hobby got so deep. It expanded the hobby because there was so many more places to kind of fit yourself in, right? You can be someone that spends, a couple $100 and gets a shit stack and some HD 5.8Xs and be a audiophile. Or you could be someone that goes like super way high end and spends, $12,000-$15,000 on an audio setup. And that person, they're both still audiophiles. I think we're going to get to the point where like keyboards is going to be like that, where it's like there's people all over the spectrum. The higher end is going to keep getting crazier and crazier expensive because people are going to be like, well, people are paying money, so I'm going to try to do this crazy thing that I thought of like 2 years ago that I couldn't do then that I can do now because there's the money there to support it. So I think that's kind of what my take would be on it, is that bigger companies coming in, they're not going to mess with the high end. They're going to put out marketing materials that's going to say it messes with the high end, but it's not. That's just marketing. They've got marketing teams, right? Like Heine Bush doesn't have a marketing team for like Heine Bush.
Hey, he tries hard. All right.
He is his marketing team. That's what he just said.
Here's my marketing for Heine Bush.
Like, it's like, the high end will always exist. Whether or not it'll be the community where everyone knows each other and people are, super interconnected, that's going to kind of get gray and it's going to kind of go away. You're going to see more of like what's kind of already started happening, where there's like pockets where it's like there's BasickBuilds community that's part of ingrained in her stream and ingrained in what she does. There's Mex on Decks community, and there's going to be some overlap. There's Teja Types, there's Top Clack, there's all these different places. Those communities are based, but that's what like Discord is for. That's what streams are great for, is to preserve some sort of a community that's not like bigger, a grand scale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, it's kind of what I said. This board is not for everyone, and it's not supposed to be. This board, if you were sitting there going, man, I'm pissed that I can't afford the $480 Satisfaction 75. This board came out to only $160. Fuck the Satisfaction. It's like, cool. The Satisfaction 75 was never for you. Like at that point, it was never for you.
Imagine being poor, says Heine Bush. I can't.
I love you, Heine. Shout out to Heine Bush. So, God, what did you say? Oh, not new glasses, very old glasses, waiting on new ones in the mail, though. But Mason Gray, do you ever think there will be a breaking point, overwhelming friction between the hobbyist and the community? I don't think there will be a breaking point with hobbyists. I think if you keep fucking threatening our vendors, who are just people who are trying to help grow the community, that you're going to push a fucking vendor out, and that's going to take the community's going to take a huge fucking hit if you do that. Yeah. I shouldn't have to say stop fucking threatening vendors, like, because you couldn't get your keyboard. I'm sorry you couldn't get your keyboard, but a breaking point is and a divide in the community is going to happen when the assholes of the world eventually get to these 2-3 man operations, and they're like, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I know 100%. If Osiris and I were getting death threats after a few weeks, I would have probably told Osiris, I'm not doing this anymore. Sorry. Like, I can't handle death threats every single day.
Like, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
Dude, I would have called him out. I would have like called him out on stream.
Yeah. It's just, well, I got names.
Dude, just like literally screenshot of the email.
Let's go through these names real quick. Yeah, Jesus. Like that's my view on that. So
yeah. I remember like when the Satisfaction 75 like dropped and the amount of salt I was just pouring into that channel, that chat channel. I was like, the fact that they even had to lock it because it got so bad, like clearly like there's this disconnect. Like you got like some people think like they're trying to keep you from buying this, but that's not the case. It's literally just like it happens. You can't get it now, you'll get it next time. Right? Or if you want it that bad, go on Mech Market and pay the premium. Clearly, like if you want it that bad, go do that. Don't shit on the vendors because that's not, they're trying their best.
Dude, it's so nuts to me that 1,300 units of a board or over 1,300 units of a board that was almost $500 sold out in 15 minutes when literally a little over a year ago, the Polaris, which was a completely open buy that was $300, sold like the same amount of units in an entire month. And at that time, we were like, dude, this is insane. This is crazy.
I just hit 500. Holy
and it's
shit.
like,
yeah.
And then like, it's one of those things when people are like, oh, we need to have in stock. You point to that, right? Like one calendar year, a board that was $180 more sold more units than a board that was $300.
And let's not talk.
Let's
not forget about the difference between 300 and 500 is huge.
Yeah,
that's a huge. 300 is I saved 1 or 2 months. I penny pinched, unless you're making huge bankrolls. But like, if you can get to $300 and just make, by not spending some money, $500, you start getting into the like, fuck, I might have to sell some things. I'm going to have to really start penny pinching, especially because, a lot of these boards are like, it's announced, by the way, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And not many people just casually have that amount of money just sitting in their bank account. I'd venture to say a lot of the community probably does not have that. So, other than that, but Heine, by the way, I haven't talked to you in a while. I do need to like trade PMs with you soon, since like we're kind of like business partners.
Yeah, I hope you're doing well, my dude.
Heine, if you guys don't know Heine Bush, check out his products. He's dope. He's dope. Also, the reason I love Heine is if someone threatened him, I would just be like, why don't you go fuck yourself? Heine would just dish it right back.
I love that energy though. Like someone who would just dish it right back, and it's like, I don't care. Like what are you gonna do for me? Like
exactly.
And
it seems like.
Sorry. Go.
I was just gonna say, it seems like if Kiwi Kang seems like the kind of guy that's gonna start throwing hands, and that's why I like Kiwi Kang.
Kiwi came from my throat in my own chat because I said, if anyone plays League, I said that Ari is best girl. This man came from my throat in my own chat. I was like, Kiwi, if I see you, we'll throw hands. Because he's like a Kali best girl. I was like, Ari best girl.
Hell yeah.
If you know, you know.
So.
Oh my God, I'm gonna see him saying stuff. But Heine did bring up a good point, is like that anonymous part, of the internet, right? That like there's no repercussions on what they say or what they do, and that's why they do it. And I'm like, imagine meeting somebody in person, keep that same energy and say it to their face while they're standing in front of you. You won't. A lot of people won't.
Yep. Say it to my face. So typically we end the stream with 2 questions from us. So Cyrus, I will let you ask the first one.
Yeah. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've gotten to ask this question. But what is your favorite and your least favorite thing about the community right now?
Okay. So my most favorite thing about the community, right? And I'll chill about this all the time, but it's how supportive they are. Like how supportive they are. But my least favorite thing is having people who don't know what they're talking about shit on other people and making it hard to have a real conversation. That's the one thing I hate the most. There are discourse that I go into where you have people that are just so self-righteous and so ignorant, and they think they know everything, that it's hard for someone who genuinely wants to learn and to ask questions and feel like they can ask questions. That's the one thing I hate the most. And I'm like, they're trying to learn, so answer with an honest answer, but at the same time understand that, like, hey, push them that, hey, try this out. This is my opinion. I'll give you my opinion, but try this out. Don't like shit on someone because they don't know that much. And I absolutely hate that shit because I've experienced it in my life, like personally outside in the real world. And like luckily, like as I've grown up, I don't experience anymore because I just don't put up with bullshit. But seeing that and understanding where that person's coming from who wants to learn, it does bother the fuck out of me.
Solid answer. And last question, The Office or Parks and Rec?
The Office. Easy claps. The Office, no question about it.
I love the look on your face. You're like, wait, was that really the last question? It's like, let's go deep. All right, real quick. Let's dial it back. You're watching Netflix.
I will say though, it's been a while since I've watched The Office, and it's been a while like since I've gotten into Netflix, but I've only recently got back into it. And let me just chill for a quick second. If you haven't watched Queen's Gambit,
oh God, yes, right?
Fucking watch it. It is so good.
I knocked it out in 2 days.
I don't understand a lot about chess. I think chess is really boring. If there's any chess players in the chat, I'm sorry, don't come for me. But Queen's Gambit is so good. I actually walked into the living room and my sisters were watching it, but they were near the end, and I watched it with them. And I was like, oh shit, this is so good. And then I went back that weekend and watched the whole series by myself. It was so good. So good.
Dude, it hit at the right time.
Right?
Like immaculate.
So
yeah, Twitch chess streams was like giant for like 3 months at the beginning of quarantine. So
what? Wait, there's a
lot of people that play
like there was
chess on Twitch.
Like the Twitch category had like on average like 250,000 viewers like daily. It was nuts.
What?
But it's kind of slowing down, but
yeah. Someone asked, what are your take on silent switches? I don't like them. I like hearing my switches.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of silent switches. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go. Finish your sentence.
I took the silencers off of my silent alpacas. I didn't even give them a chance. I'm sorry. I don't like silent switches. I can't.
That's not to say that they are bad.
Yeah, it's
if
just
you want the silent build,
like
that's good. But yeah, as a personal taste, and someone fortunate enough to work with someone who doesn't care that I just clack away, like it's not for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a board with silent V2s in it, and they feel good. The bottom out's a little weird, just like they were talking about, but it feels almost sounds like wrong. Like when I'm typing, it just doesn't sound good. And to me, like silent linears doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because like to me, linear switches for the most part, other than like maybe creams, are silent enough anyway. Like,
yeah.
And I would prefer, instead of using silent switches, to like change my plate from like, if you want something that's still relatively stiff, like maybe instead of doing aluminum, get like carbon fiber, or if you're okay with having a little bit of flex, get something like polycarb or palm, and it's going to be quieter than like a brass or aluminum plate. So
yeah. RX Chaser, I don't want you to think that we're shitting on it. Like if you think a keyboard shouldn't be loud, that's you. You can make a very, very silent board. Like that's the best part about this hobby, right? You and I can have different opinions and different likes, and neither of us are wrong.
So, yeah, I want to try MX Silence, but I also I don't want to go through the trouble of making one. To be honest, because I'm not a big fan of silent switches, so I just don't want to go through the trouble of making it. But I do see why there are people who in there or why people who aren't. And like you said, that's the beauty of this community, right? Is preference. It really is all just preference. You can like what you like, I can like what I like, and at the end of the day, you'll never, unless you live near me or work with me, you'll never hear my keyboard. You'll hear it for a sound test on Twitch, and that's it. You only have to suffer through the 2 minutes I type.
There it is. So I want to give a quick shout to our awesome sponsors who definitely help make this stream possible. First up, switchmod.net/Mex on deck for 4% off your order. You can get some awesome stickers on there, and they do have group buys that are coming in soon. So just keep your ear to the ground on that. And then next up, we got Cannon Keys. You can go to cannonkeys.com/Mex on deck to go check out GMK Hallyu, which we talked about earlier. A great set to kind of change up with, we got the nice fade on there. Also, Mauve linear switches are up there too, and some they got some 205 grade 0. So if you want to re-up on some stuff, Cannon Keys, definitely a good place to go. Next up, MexOnDeck. Man, why I can't think. I've been asked too many questions today. MexOnDeck.dixiemech.com. Check out GMK Redline that is going right now, as well as DCS Red Alert. So if you're feeling extra red right now, hit up Dixie. Those group buys are running at the moment. And last but not least, Project Keyboards. No group buys currently running, but we do expect to have another group buy here soon. So be sure to check those out, as well as our awesome partners, Zap Cables. They make the best cables in the business. Go check them out. You can have them. You can buy some in-stock stuff, or you can build your own cable. It's super attainable and super doable to do. Next up, we got Type Beast. You can go to typebea.st for an amazing newsletter. And last but not least, on our sponsor, Cannon Keys, you can check out Smith & Rune. Go pick up an Iron 180. Do your best. It will be difficult to do it, but if you can, you will not be upset.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, sorry, dude, man, it's been a couple days. All right, it's been a couple days. So Miss Basic, thank you very, very much for coming on the show. I can't tell you, I have not shut up about. I yelled down the hallway at work today. I was like, "Yo, we got this girl that's coming on tonight. It's gonna be sick."
Appreciate so much. I mean, thank you so much for having me. Honestly, it is a big honor to just be here and to have you guys interview me. I had a lot of fun. I haven't been streaming as much these past few weeks, but this is incredible. It was an incredible interview, and thank you so much. Thank you so much. Also, thank you everyone in chat. Thank you everyone that showed up. You guys are amazing, amazing, amazing people, and thank you for all the support as well.
Yeah, and honestly, applause for you, man.
And what are you doing this weekend again?
This weekend, if anyone wants to join, this Saturday at 1 p.m. My time, which is Eastern Standard Time, I will be hosting a subathon. So do join. We're gonna be, if we hit a certain threshold, we'll be doing a giveaway, but we'll be building some boards, playing some games, just hanging out. There is a 24-hour cap, but that might change.
There it is. There it is, guys.
Also, quick shout out.
Crew, throw the subs out, guys. Throw the subs to her.
Oh, God.
Get her all the way there.
Force her to 24 hours get her to 24 hours before she's even 4 hours in.
So funny thing is, I think, so I was on a fellow streamer, his name's Tim Keelis. I was on his stream one night, and he sings, every time you raid, he sings, right? Every time you raid, he sings, and I was like, so if I go live and I raid, you're going to sing me a song, right? He's like, I doubt you're going to go. He's like, I doubt you're going to go on. I was like, this guy's really going to doubt me. And what happened was I went live for like 3 minutes. I was like, imagine this guy doubting me. Imagine this guy doubting me. And that kind of became a thing. And then a few nights ago, Dr. Huru was like, who's also a fellow streamer, he was like, oh, I'm going to wait till Basic comes on so I can raid her. And like chats like me, he's like, oh, I doubt. And I was like, I was already in bed, but I was like, I can't like not take on the doubt, right? So I went live, and like for those 20 minutes, like chat was like dropping subs, and like I felt bad because I was like, this is just for a meme. I literally came on just for a meme. Like I didn't even come on to like do anything. And so I added that time into the subathon, and we're already at almost 3 hours. And I was like, you guys are insane. Like you guys are insane. But yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. The 24-hour cap is there, but
who knows?
I just don't even want to think that we could possibly hit that. I don't.
If Chewy and I have learned anything from setting goals for long streams, you hit them in like the first like 2 hours.
The first quarter of it.
Yeah, it's like we set goals for our last 24-hour stream that we thought like we purposely set them higher than we like thought we should, because we were like, we don't want it to like happen very like at the beginning. Like we didn't make it like insane, but we wanted it to be something that happened like later in the day. We started at noon. We wanted it to happen, late at night. And then it was like 4 o'clock and both of the goals had been hit. And we're like, well, shit, thanks guys. But come on.
And that's the thing that goes back to like this community is just so supportive, and like the hype trains and everything. I'm just like, you guys are like amazing.
Speaking of being supportive,
don't know how else to put it.
Thank you, Fooburger, for gifting a tier 1 to Retro Maple, Heiny Bush for the 420 bits, and Broken Bin is Best Bin. I feel like that's a meme from your channel. Thank you for 420.
It is a meme. So let me explain. So what happens a lot of times is that when I get a raid or something, or people are dropping subs, I'll freeze up. And I'm just like, my face will literally just be like PogChamp. I'm like, and like, you don't hear anything for like a good minute. So it's like, the other meme is like, oh, basic error 404. Cause I'm like, I don't know how to process it. And I still like, even now, like don't know how to process it. Cause I'm like,
well, it's
you guys want to watch me.
Like, it still humbled me whenever I was like, bro, come on the show. And you were like, whoa. I was like, this person's legit. Like, I know this person.
He sent me the VOD with a timestamp.
I was like, bro, you gotta check this out. I was like, you want to feel good about yourself real quick.
Cause it's like, and I mean, it's just, to me, like, I'm someone who literally just started, and like, you guys want me to come onto your show to interview me. Like, I just started. And I say this a lot in my chat too. It's like, I don't feel like I deserve all the support that I've gotten or this growth. It's just because I feel like there are other people in this community that deserve it more than I do. And, people are like, but you should take it a role. I was like, it's hard for me. Like, it's hard for me because there are people who stream months before me or have done this so much longer. And how is it someone like me, who just started streaming, who isn't like the most experienced, able to like get this support and grow this much? Like, I still can't process it. And it still doesn't make sense to me.
It goes to show that this community is awesome. Like, I love being a part of this community. We were shown a lot of the same lifelines, and it was kind of mind-boggling to us that a lot of people were dealing with us so early on. And then moving through, when we kind of reach out to people, it like hits us very, like, we're like, wait, what? Like,
Yeah.
wait, what? Like, and so I was super happy. I can't tell you how excited I was to bring you on. This is not going to be the last time that Miss Basic comes on the stream. We'll have to do a dual build stream sometime.
Let's do it. I raced Kimchi on my third stream. I was like, I'll race Kimchi. I took an hour to put on keycaps just to wait for him to catch up. But that was fun. That was fun. So I totally done.
No, I love Kimchi. So who do you want to raid? Do you have anybody in mind?
Honestly, let's do Max. Let's do Max.
Max F
Live. Great guy. Great guy. I love watching Max.
Saturday, we don't know. Hell, we might just play some games here with Miss Basic if she's gaming. So we don't know exactly what we're going to be doing Saturday. But guys, check out her stream, her subathon this coming Saturday. It starts at 12 o'clock Mex on Deck time, 1 p.m. Basic time, and Top Clack time at the 10 a.m. mark. So be sure to check all that stuff out, guys. And thank you again. Like, really, thank you again for coming on the show.
I'm honored. Seriously. Thank you so much for having me. Like, beyond words, thank you. Like, thank you so much. Also, Heine's like, he wants to raid Lightning, but I'm not sure why.
Lightning? Well,
Lightning keyboards. I like Lightning. He's good. He's a good dude.
He's cool. We've raided a lot of people. No worries. We'll raid Lightning next time. Lightning is my dog. We'll raid him next time. Heine, I got you, bud. I got you, Heine. Next time.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely.
Seriously, thank you so much. I had a great time. So.
Yeah, and as always, buy a Switch tester.